Hello, my name is Emma Sherlock and I work for our family firm, which is called Stan Sherlock Associates. We help people buy houses and we help people look after their money. When I was a little girl, my dad was in the army, and so we moved around a lot. We moved house an awful lot, and I went to quite a few primary schools. But in year six, towards the end of primary school, my mummy and daddy thought it was best for me if I went to a boarding school. Well, a boarding school is somewhere that you go to school like normal, but you also sleep over. So I had one long sleepover all the way through school. Now, when I was at school, I always wanted to be a radio presenter or a businesswoman. So in school, everyone has their favourite subjects, don't they? Some people like painting and art, some people like maths, some people like English or phonics. Everyone has a different talent and everyone has something that they're better at than something else. And I was better at English than I was at maths. So after primary school and after secondary school, knowing that I enjoyed English and was better at it, I decided to do an English degree at university. And at university, I read lots and lots of books. I asked lots of questions, and I met lots and lots of interesting people whom I'm still friends with today. In fact, it's where I met my husband. Now, I loved university and I made all those friends, but ultimately, I still had this desire to ask questions. I still loved the idea of being on the radio, and so I decided, whilst I was at university, that I wanted to become a journalist. And so we all have dreams, don't we? But all dreams require hard work if you want to achieve them. So for me, I wanted to be a journalist, I wanted to ask questions, and I wanted to be on the radio. So I started writing articles for newspapers for free for the local newspaper. I would review netball matches for local teams or hockey matches for local teams. I used to write things for Wigton Hockey Club and I'd send it into the newspaper in the hope that they might print it. But ultimately, I think what I needed was a qualification. I decided to go back to university to do something called a master's in broadcast journalism. So, broadcast journalism is journalism on the radio rather than in newspapers. And once I had that qualification under my belt, I then went knocking on news editors and radio managers' doors, and I just let everybody know that I wanted a job, I wanted to work in radio. And one of the first places I tried was BBC Radio Cumbria because I wanted to live in this area. It was where my husband was from and we bought a house and we wanted to have children here. And finally, when I was about 22 or 23 years old, I was given a job, my first job, as a reporter for BBC Radio Cumbria. So I would go out, I would meet people, I'd ask them lots of questions about their story, and then I'd broadcast it on the radio. Sometimes it would have music with it, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it would be funny, sometimes it would be sad, and sometimes it would be very serious because it would be about politics or money or things that someone had done wrong. And then as the years passed, I eventually started news reading and I moved around a little bit. I went to Newcastle for a while, I went to London for a while, but ultimately my heart was here in Cumbria. And after 6 or 7 years of being a journalist, I was finally given my own show on BBC Radio Cumbria. I was the news hour presenter, so I did drive time. So when your mummies and daddies were coming home from work in their cars, that's probably when they'd have heard me on the radio. I had a fantastic career and I was quite good at it, which is, that's a good thing, to be good at the thing that you love, because quite often you're good at something you love because you love it. But after 15 years with the BBC, I decided it was time for a change. And if there's one tip that I can give you, it would be that just because you've done something for a long time doesn't mean you have to always do it. And for me, I wanted to go into the family business. It was time for a change. I wanted a new challenge. So I decided, along with my husband and his family, that I would move into the family business. So I had to use all those skills that I'd learned being a journalist about communication, asking questions and listening, and apply those to my new job so that I could help our advisors develop and become better at what they were doing. And in turn, they were making me better at what I was doing because I was learning all the time. So I now manage a team of 13 people, and most of those people help mummies and daddies like yours save money, buy houses, or plan for retirement. So, as you've heard, I've had quite a varied career, but ultimately, I think I've achieved my goals. I wanted to be a radio presenter, and I was, and then I wanted to be a businesswoman, which is what I am now, I suppose. I'm my own boss. So, I'd like to wish you all lots and lots of luck in your careers, and I hope you're all successful in whatever it is you choose to do when you're older.